Welcome to Women Winning Divorce, the podcast helping successful women navigate divorce with dignity so you can protect yourself, your children, and your assets. I'm Heather Quick, founding attorney at Florida Women's Law Group, where women win at life. Hello, I'm Heather Quick with the Women Winning Divorce podcast. Today we're discussing a growing trend in modern relationships, the rise of prenuptial agreements, especially among Gen Z couples. According to Los Angeles-based family law attorney Jacqueline Coombs, prenups are becoming far more common and far less taboo. A 2022 Harris poll found that 42% of U.S. adults support the use of prenups, and 35% of unmarried adults say they would likely sign one. That's a significant culture shift, considering that in 2010, only about 3% of married or engaged couples had one in place. So what's driving this change? And what does it mean for your relationship? Well, I think it starts with much more openness between a couple, because prenups typically outline how assets such as investments, real estate, businesses, any joint accounts would be handled in the event of divorce. And so I think that what the research and article shows is that the younger generation, they want more transparency and they want to talk about this stuff up front so that they are, kind of know what they're getting into rather than viewing a prenup as pessimistic or unromantic. I think they're looking at it as they should. This is, marrying is we're entering into a legal contract under the laws of whatever state we live in. Maybe we should talk about these things and how we will address it. Gen Z in particular appears to be leading this shift. And I think that's also due to greater access to information through social media, online resources, and growing up witnessing, divorce, one, being more openly discussed. I think that has influenced the younger generation's willingness to plan ahead. And I also think that something that's talked about way more now is mental health, transparency in relationships, which many Gen Zers are prioritizing that. And so therefore they're thinking, hey, my mental health is important too. And so therefore I need to have these conversations or know how we're going to handle it. And I think, having upfront financial conversations, it certainly strengthens communications. It doesn't, rather than undermining trust, because money is what really breaks up a lot of marriages. And, we come into a relationship and there's a lot of focus on all the feelings that are usually good when it's a good relationship, but we do ourselves a disservice and our relationship a disservice if we're not willing to have that conversation. Now, I will say most people don't know how to, right? We all have a money story, but we may not even be aware of it or what it means. And that's where, some type of financial counseling is helpful, giving you the words and the things to communicate to understand one another. According to a Northwestern Mutual study, a significant percentage of Gen Z believes money conversations should happen well before marriage. And then that, begs the question, when's the right time? I mean, hey, the first date, no. Unless, hey, if you're like, man, the clock is ticking and I'm not wasting time on a bunch of dates unless there are certain things that we've discussed and we're on the same page. So, right, it's going to depend on each individual person and understanding what's important to you. But I mean, my goodness, if you don't even like the person, like, why delve right in, right? I think you need to determine, hey, is this something or is this relationship seem worthwhile? Is this a person I want to spend more time with? If you start talking about like moving in together, possibly marriage, it's one of those things. And it should come before you talk about kids, which is also important, right? Know whether or not the person wants children or not. But money remains one of the leading causes of divorce. And so beginning that conversation before you're so entangled legally is very wise. And then once you have the conversation, you can outline it in a prenup. I hope this conversation helps normalize what can sometimes feel like an uncomfortable topic. Planning for financial clarity doesn't mean you expect your marriage to fail. It means you're committed to entering it with honesty and transparency. If you'd like to learn more about protecting yourself financially before and during marriage, go back and listen to episode 120, Protecting Your Assets Before You Say I Do. Thank you for listening.
Listeners, if you or someone you know in the Northeast Florida area is going through or even thinking about divorce, you're not alone. Taking that first step can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Our newsletter is filled with actionable advice tailored to guide you through this process. By signing up, you'll gain the tools to face the unknown with courage and see if we're the right fit to support you during this life-changing time. Don't wait. Click the link in the show notes, fill out the form, and take the first step toward building a brighter future today.